Hello. Hello, I'm Claire Louise Hay from BeHealing.com. Welcome to Psychic Cafe. For those of you that are watching the replay, and we'll just wait for the live viewers to come on before I get going. I'm going to go on just to make sure it's there. There we go. There I am. Watching myself go live. How are you today? Feeling good? Have you watched my daily read? Hello. How are you? So if you're watching this live, then just pop a message up saying who you are, where you're from. Also, if you're watching the replay and you've got any questions, just pop a comment. Pop a comment in YouTube. I always see all the comments and read them in YouTube. Oh, coffee. So I woke up in the middle of the night last night, about 1 o'clock, I think it was, midnight, 1 o'clock. So I've been asleep for a few hours. I've gone to bed early. And I think it was ants in my bed biting me, waking me up. But and I glanced at my phone to have a look at what time it was, and then I saw that someone had filled in there was a notification on my phone. Someone had filled in the contact us on my website, asking how she can get access to my 21 Wishes in 21 Days program, which is a 21-day meditation program, 21 guided meditations. And what you do is on day one, you write down 21 things that you want to manifest, 21 wishes. And then every day, and you listen to the particular day's guided meditation. Before you listen to it, you just read through. You just read through it, not trying to do anything, you just read through it, and then you listen to the meditation. And what it does, it takes you through a process. It takes you through a process of aligning with it, no matter what it is. The key components to aligning with all of those things. Anyway, she said that it changed her life. She's done this program before. She had it before and she wanted to purchase it again. She said it changed her life. And it's really interesting because I had all of these old programs that I've made and I deleted them. When I started making all of these videos for the different astrological star signs and making 12 videos in one go, uploading them all onto my MacBook and processing, editing them, processing them. It means that I've got like three lots of videos of those 12 videos on my laptop at once, and it was taking up a lot of space, right? So I needed to free up space when I started doing that because my MacBook was complaining that it didn't have enough space for it. And so I started deleting all of these old programs, but I didn't delete 21 Wishes in 21 Days just because I know it's such a powerful program. The rest, it took me quite a while to come up with that one and to record it. It was a bigger process than the other programs that I've made for me. And I know I've used it myself. I know how powerful it is. Anyway, so I was really happy that I hadn't deleted that. And I got her message, but of course, then I tried to go back to sleep. And there was no going back to sleep because then my head was going. Then I was like, oh, I can just send it to her in an email or I can put it on the website. And then I was thinking of how to put it on the website. And then I had an idea to give the first day for free on the website. And that was it. I'm like, I might as well just get up and do it. And so I did. I got up, I did it. I put it on the website. And so on BeHealing.com on the homepage, you can listen to the first day for free. And you can purchase the whole program if you want to from there. So I listened to the first one in the middle of the night. But I'm going to start the whole process today. So if you want to start with me, go on BeHealing.com and let's do this together. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do it because I know the first time I did it, it was really powerful. I don't know whether I did it more than once. Maybe I did it 2 or 3 times. But it's such a powerful program. So that's cool. I might make more meditations as well. I really enjoy making guided meditations. Right. There's nobody joining me live today. I'm going to do this by myself. So let's have a look at the card for the day. So I've picked a card out from one of Colette Baron-Reid's decks, which is the Something of Avalon, Wisdom of Avalon, maybe, her deck. We've got the Bard. Got the Bard for today, which is all about stories. It's about cultures and stories, family stories, cultural stories, history, storytelling. And what came up for me when I looked at this about our stories, our personal stories, our personal past stories, and how we recreate them, those stories in our lives over and over again. And so it might be that your family have a story and you've picked up that story and then you're reliving it, So families can have stories, abuse stories, or they can have financial stories. They can have all kinds of stories, families, and we pick those up. We add some of our own stories to it as well with our life experiences. And that becomes our story. We replay these stories in our minds. And these stories, it's about how life is for us, what life is for us, what we're expecting from life. And these stories, they are personal stories. They replay over and over again. They manifest again. That's what came up for me anyway when I looked at this card. Let's have a look what Colette has to say about it. This card represents music, storytelling, and the passing of truths, myths, and legends from generation to generation through the spoken word or song. In ancient Avalon, the traditions and stories of the people were gathered on leaves that served as letters in a living alphabet and were tended in vast longhouses. Here the druids and priestesses came to read and weave the stories of magic and the sacred relationship to the goddesses and the mystery. Those schooled in the art of music and storytelling were given the task of informing their world and keeping the stories of their culture alive. They were given the name of Bard. When the Bard appears, you're asked to seek answers in your personal history. Go back in your own story and find the threads of the patterns in your reality and trace their length to the present. Perhaps you'll be surprised by how much of your past or that of your ancestors still weaves its influence on you today. Yeah, that's what I was picking up on. When the Bard appears, he asks you to retrieve the stories woven in the past. Perhaps you need to learn about the history of someone or something important to your inquiry. The seeds of the future are always hidden in the soils of the past. It's time to dig a little and find the clarity you need. Don't be afraid to learn the patterns of history. The only way to honor them or change them is to know them, to become aware of them, right? Perhaps it's time to listen to music and allow yourself to be carried into the land of memory and listen for its messages as the strings of your soul are strummed by the hand of the divine. Maybe that the Bard appears to help you to stay in tune with the all that is. You are music and your story is sung in the heavens. And another thing that came to me reading that is that our stories, that's what we're here for. We're here to weave this story, to create the story of our life. And what story do you want your life to be? There's the general structure of the hero's tale, where a hero, someone sets out and they come up to adversity, and then they meet these challenges, they overcome these challenges, and then they get a reward at the end. That's the hero story. And we all tend to be living this hero story in some way or other. So that's really interesting, especially because the daily read for today was about, so today being the 9th, Wednesday the 9th of October. So the daily read being about relationship healing. So the energies of today are about relationship healing. And so when we apply this card to that what stories have you got replaying in your life? What relationship stories have you got replaying in your life? Now I've had plenty of relationship stories replaying in my life. So setting out from my family relationships and the abuse dynamic going on, me being the victim. So in my first few relationships, I took on that same role, the victim role. First boyfriend tried to kill me, and then I was raped a few times, and I just all this abuse happening to me, and like the same story replaying, and I wasn't consciously choosing. It wasn't like, oh, here's an abuser, I'll go with them. It's just whoever felt comfortable, who I felt comfortable with, and bizarrely, I felt comfortable with abusers because that's what I knew. It was normal for me. That was normal for me, and so I couldn't really tell who was an abuser and who wasn't. And as I healed that and started to change my story, I started to experience different kinds of relationships, but then with more patterns, with more stories going on, more underlying stories going on. The latest story going on has been about cheating. I don't want that story anymore. It's not my story. I did it once in my life, but it's not my story. So, yeah, all about relationship healing today. And so, what are your stories around relationships that are replaying in your life? Because as Colette said, when we become aware of what the stories are, where they come from in the past, the first time that we experienced them, and it became our story, just by becoming aware of it, we can set ourselves free from it. Coffee. Okay, so let's pick out some cards, more about the energies today. Then I'm going to pick my cards out for the day, and then I'm going to read for, if anyone shows up on here, I'll read for you too. Remember, if you're watching the replay, you can ask questions in the comments, in the comment section. I'm a little bit sleepy today, can you tell? Okay. From being up in the middle of the night and doing work stuff. Okay, and that was the other thing as well, is the focus today was to go for it, was to reach out for what we want and go for it. So if there's someone that you want to reach out to, then reach out to them. If there's a job that you want to go for, then go for it, apply for it. And so, yeah, the first cards that are out, it's about touch and go for it. That's what reminded me. So this is saying touch is a necessary, it's a need, it's a human need for touch, for human-to-human touch. And it's not just a want, it's not just a desirable thing, it's an actual need. And so if babies aren't touched, then they die. So babies need to be cuddled, they need to have that touch. And as adults, we need that touch too. I mean, that need never goes away. And I was learning yesterday, the day before, about why that is because there's this life force that's within us. And this life force, scientists are actually seeing it now, how it works within us, or elements of it. There's vortexes within us, and there's things that change phase within us that allows this life force to happen. And there are things that can add to our life force. The scientists are showing that it's things that give us a negative charge, a negative ionic charge, that is, not a negative mind. And the things that give us negative charges are things like walking barefoot in nature, and stroking pets, and eating natural foods, especially meats, apparently. And another one is human touch, okay? And so it's an actual need that we have, this human touch. It allows our life force to regenerate. It gives us negative ions that we need to for our life force to actually work within our bodies. So we need human touch. And so this is saying touch, go for it. So go and hug a friend. Go and get that need met, get that human contact need met by hugging a friend. And so if you've been the kind of person that shies away from hugs, or don't really have anyone that you have that physical contact with, you can start off by having massages. I know, like from my abuse, I was very reluctant to be touched, even have people in my close space. And when I was in my healing process after I moved to Australia, which was like 19 years ago now, I had my first massage. I think I'd had one before that in some kind of spa thing when I was away, and I felt very uncomfortable with it. And I started getting regular massages and getting through that discomfort of being touched and learning to trust people touching me. As I said, I've got a history of abuse, of violence, of sexual abuse. So that's hard to get past, and there's so many people that have history of abuse like that. And it's a real thing, being fearing touch and fearing the people. I really did have a fear of everybody, and I've had to heal that and learn that I can defend myself. Not only defend myself, but learn that I can distinguish who is abusive and who's not, who's good for me to be around and who isn't. That was really important, because when you've grown up in abuse, you're just accepting everyone. You're just wide open to everyone. No one feels scary when you've had the scariest people in your home from the start. Everyone's acceptable, yeah. And so this is a real thing for many people, this fear of people, this fear of touch, but it's actually essential for us. So it's something that we need to heal. So you can open yourself up to that touch just by going and hugging a friend. If you've got friends, but if you're more withdrawn than that, then maybe get a massage and see it as a progression. Get a regular massage and see it as a progression to deal with whatever comes up within you, the objections that come up within you. Okay, next card's out for the deeper dive into the energies for today. Again, I'm just going back to that touch as well. That's about relationship healing, We're not just talking about romantic relationship healing today. We're talking about all relationship healing. And so friendships and family members and stuff like that. I'm not saying that you need to heal and be around those people anymore, especially if they're abusers. Don't do that. Don't do that, because they don't change. I've learned that the hard way. I was always trying to fix it. I was always trying to heal it and be with them. It's not possible. It's very rare that abusers will change and heal themselves. It's like they're 2 steps away from it. It's like the victim, the one that takes the victim role in it, is just 1 step away from healing, but the abuser is 2 steps away from healing. That's the way I see it anyway. And so this touch is about relationship healing. It's about getting to the point where you are open. You can be open. You've got good boundaries, so you can rely on yourself to choose who's good for you and who's not good for you. You can have boundaries to say no to people, not have them in their lives if they're not good for you, which allows you to be open to everyone, first of all, until I've shown you that they shouldn't be in your life. And that opens you up to being a part of the community, having people look after you, care for you, and you care for them and look after them, with lots of touch involved in that. Really ideal way to be. And that doesn't come from more separation. Some people try to do that without healing, and so they form these little communities of like-minded people to shut scary people out. That's not necessary. That's not doing it. It's like, that's not healing from it. Just picking and choosing who's going to be in your community thinking that you're protecting yourself from the negativity that's out there, and so that you can open up to them. I'm guessing that every single person that's done that has found eventually that the people that they've chosen have got something that's scary about them. You see it, don't you, in these cults? That's what people are trying to do in the cults. They're trying to get rid of the scary, and what happens is, like, the cult leaders are always the scariest people, like the biggest abusers. So trying to change the external conditions, trying to change who you let into your life and protect yourself in that way doesn't work. What does work is healing yourself so that you can be open to anyone that's around you, anyone, and be inclusive of anyone in your community, but then still having those strong boundaries, knowing who you are, what you deserve, having that strong boundaries, recognizing when someone's not good for you, and not having them in your life, pulling up your boundaries. That's the way to be truly open and healing it. So it's not by exclusion, like religions and cults and community, intentional communities and stuff like that. That's the unhealed version of it. That's trying to protect yourself. Okay, can I move on now, guys? Keep on going on about this first two cards. This is good. Deeper diving into the energies of today. It's no worries, you're on track. Don't worry. All the challenges that you've got at the moment, especially if you feel like the rug's been pulled up from under your feet, you've had a tower moment. I have. I'm in the middle of a tower moment at the moment when where I've lost a lot. And it's a bit of a scary situation to be in. But deep down in me, I know that it's right for me because I'm gaining so much from it already. I'm gaining so much from it. So my tower moment, excuse me, started 2 months ago when I broke up a relationship. So that was my choice. Because I just wasn't getting what I needed within the relationship. I waited for quite some time after realizing I wasn't getting what I needed, after communicating that I wasn't getting what I needed from the relationship, thinking that maybe it would change, but it didn't. So in the end, it got too much for me. I'm like, no, I need to make a new decision now. And so, but that relationship, was involved in my work as well, not this work, but other work. And the family there too. I was spending a lot of time there, working there, eating there, training there, completely involved in it. And that was another reason I needed to break it off too, is that I was neglecting myself and putting all of my energy into that. And I recognized that wasn't good for me, my life, my things. And so quitting that, I knew that I needed to take a week to myself. And it turned out to be a month to myself that I needed. Not training anymore. Well, I was training myself at the gym instead. Not going there, not working there, no contact. I just needed to get back to myself. I was doing a lot of meditation and a lot of processing of it, going through that victim annoyance thing that we go through when we're grieving, whether it's us that's broken up the relationship or the other person, it doesn't matter. We still go through that grieving process. And so I was going through that, and then after about a month, I felt ready to face them again and to go back, just for training, just as a customer, which was weird at first, but it's okay now. Opening back up to the community again, being okay with it after I'd processed it. And then, so I'd been more focused on my business throughout that time, more focused on myself and more focused on my business. And then suddenly my business stopped working. My business has always flowed, always brought in whatever I need. And suddenly it didn't. For the last few weeks, suddenly it didn't. And so I had to look at it with fresh eyes and look at myself with fresh eyes of what it is within me that's, how I can step it up, and what it is within me that's causing these blockages. So yeah, it's been interesting. I've gained a lot from it. I'm following my guidance too, and so the guidance to do this, the idea of doing this, and the idea of doing the astrological videos, and just saying yes. You know, when you get into that kind of a tower moment, it kind of forces you to start saying yes to a lot more things. And it's been good. Like the 21 Wishes in 21 Days program as well. It's like all of this guidance that I've got, it's popped up, but it's popped up through customers. It's popped up in my mind as an idea, and it's following that, and I feel more empowered now in my business, doing more. So, and yet yesterday I decided I wanted to get grounded more, and so go barefoot outside. I was going to go for a walk on the beach, but I didn't in the end. I went out into the garden instead, and I was listening to this anxiety meditation because I was feeling this underlying anxiety, especially around my financial situation at the moment. Just like really feeling it, but ignoring it. And I know my addiction to chocolate was part of numbing that. So this is my third day without chocolate now. And yeah, so I went out barefoot, and it was really nice in the garden. The cat was out with me, hanging with me, and I was wandering around and sometimes sitting on the grass in the shade and just listening to this anxiety meditation and really feeling this underlying level of anxiety that I've got, allowing myself to really feel it. And then I picked some flowers. I've got a bowl of flowers in here now, and it was really nice. Did that for half an hour to get the grounding, to get those negative ions that I was talking about that you get through touch too. And so in the same way, no worries, you're on track. This is like, no matter what's going on, no matter what adversity you're facing at the moment, no matter what challenges, you are actually on track. It's sometimes we're forced into these redirections. I'm not sure I would have stepped up. I'm not sure I would have listened so much and taken action if I hadn't have had this tower moment. Hey Greta, you've been eating a lot of chocolate lately. Yeah, so just look into that. It might be anxiety. It was anxiety for me, for sure. So I decided to cut myself off from the chocolate when I used to buy like big boxes, like from the supermarket. Not just one at a time, the big boxes of them, and then eat like 3 or 4 of them a day. And I knew that I didn't want that. You know, I don't want the oil. It was just junk. It wasn't even good chocolate. It was junk food chocolate. And I don't want the oils. I don't want the sugars from that. I don't want that in my body. I know what that does to your body, and I don't want that. And yeah, it's become even clearer because my ex has had a stroke. He had a stroke a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I've been telling him for so long, lay off the sugar. And he was drinking Red Bull every day as well. And he was trying to say that it's not good for women, but it's okay for men. I'm like, it's not good for men. Stop drinking it. You'll end up with a heart attack. And yeah, now he's had a stroke, which is interesting timing after a breakup and the stuff that he has to deal with in his life. But he's back and he's functional now. Chocolate affects your eyesight. For real. Well, eyesight, yeah. Sugar affects everything. Really, it has such a devastating effect on your body. It does various things, sugar, but it leads to inflammation. It leads to weight gain, of course. When sugar's in your system, you can't ever lose weight. Your body can't go into weight loss, fat loss mode at all if there's sugar in your system. It feeds cancer. Nothing else feeds cancer. Sugar is the only thing that feeds cancer. Inflammation. And so there's so many problems with inflammation. It inflames your cells. It inflames the cell membranes, which stops your hormones, the hormone receptors from working, and so it messes up your hormonal system. And when I say hormonal system, most people and my old self used to think hormonal, like reproductive hormones and stuff, but it's not. It's every kind of hormone, and the hormones are what run a lot of the biological processes in the body. Diabetes is a hormone problem. It's insulin is the hormone that flooding your body so much when you have sugar, and your body ends up resistant to it. And diabetes, of course, is connected with your eyes. It deteriorates the eyesight. So yeah, I know this is why I wanted to stop eating it, because I know how bad it is for me. And so what I've done in the last few days, I've gone out and I've bought much more food, because I was eating 3 or 4 bars of chocolate, and so I obviously needed the calories from it. So I need to add those calories in from something else. But a lot more fruit, which is also high in sugar, but it's a different kind of sugar. It doesn't have such a detrimental effect on our bodies, especially if we eat whole fruit. Yeah. And so, yeah, and it really was like, since in the last three days, in the last 2 days, today's the 3rd day, but I've only just got up. I used to eat the chocolate in the afternoon or the evening. The afternoon and the evening, let's be honest. But yeah, I've really noticed that anxiety there the last 2 days. Now, it could be a sugar withdrawal thing, it could be. But maybe not, because I am eating more fruit. Okay, so no worries, you're on track. No matter what adversities you're going through, you're on track. Thanks for coming along, Greta. I was doing this by myself for so long now. Okay, energies for today. Connection flowing. This is about people again. So the first 2 cards were about touch. You might want to watch the replay for that, Greta. But yeah, our connections, our relationships, friendships, relationships. And of course, today, the daily read, it's all about the connections are flowing, and so we attract to us who we're being. And sometimes when we recognize that we're not in a healed state, we're better to not reach out for connections. Yeah, we don't want to attract people that are in that same state or in the unhealed state. So it's good to keep to ourselves. That's the flowing one way. And then when you're healed and ready, then those new connections can come in, more healthy connections. But yeah, it's really important with relationships just to know, to be aware, self-aware, and know what state you're in. Because a lot of the times it's when people are really insecure and really not feeling good in themselves, not healed, need to heal something, that's when they reach out for other people more. And that's the worst time to reach out for people. It's okay to reach out to your friends that you've already made if you need to talk to someone and tell them what's going on in your life. But reaching out for new people, for new relationships, disastrous. It's disastrous when you're in that state. I've disconnected from a lot of people in the last few years. Yeah, Greta, we do that. You get to a point where you just kind of realize what you're doing, don't you? With me, I used to hang out with a lot of alcoholics. I used to drink a lot of alcohol. That was my and my family's. That was my family's story. Going back to the card of the day. Let me show you that. So yeah, the card of the day is the bard. It's all about stories, about past stories and our life story. And so yeah, my family story, a family with alcoholics in it, or people that just using alcohol to numb their feelings, not feel what they're feeling. And I fully started doing it from a very young age. I was probably 10 or 12 something when I started drinking. Family would give me wine. Used to make me sick. But yeah, and what I noticed was because I've moved around a lot, to get to know people, I was always in this anxious state, always drinking a lot to get over that anxiety, to kind of get drunk past that anxiety so I could open up to people. And then so the people that I was meeting when I went to these new places, it was always in the pubs, it was always the alcoholics, it was always the people that were there doing the same thing as me. It was the people that hadn't healed, Oh, and I recognized that this was what was happening last year still. And I needed to disconnect from them. I needed to stop drinking. I needed to disconnect from them. So that was one of my old stories from my family story. Your eldest son drinks a lot. Yeah, you eat chocolate, he drinks a lot. You know, there's not one better addiction than another. And I guess my chocolate addiction hasn't always been there. It's a recent thing. So I guess I switched from alcohol to chocolate. Looking back, I probably did that. And so, yeah, now it's like trying not to switch it for a new addiction. People can be an addiction as well, you know, filling our time up with people, or filling our time up with busyness, or filling our time up with people so that we don't have to feel. That can be a thing. Right, I'm going to pick out my cards for the day. And then I'll do a reading for you, Greta, if you want one. Oh. I like this. So my first two cards are... We had this message, I don't know, and it was in a weekly reading or something, or a daily reading, overwhelming grace, or something like this, about upper limits on how good you can let it be. You know, we have this comfort level of how good we'll let it be. This overwhelming grace. So this is like things, amazing things flowing into your life with ease. So much so that it feels overwhelming. It's like beyond your happiness level. You know, when things are so joyful that good things happen that they make you cry, that means it's just beyond, it's pushed you beyond your comfort level. And so I'm going to get prepared for this. I would very much like that at the moment. So Greta, I was just saying at the start of it, what happened last night. So a customer got in touch with me last night. What happened was I woke up at like 1 o'clock in the morning after being asleep for a few hours. I'd gone to bed early and looked at my phone to see what time it was. And I'd seen that there's a notification on there. A customer had filled in the contact form on my website, and that pops up on my phone as a notification when that happens. And she'd asked about my 21 Wishes in 21 Days program. So this is a program that I made 5-6 years ago. A meditation program, 21 meditations. And what you do is you pick 21 things that you want to manifest, and then you listen to one of these meditations a day, and you read through your list before each meditation. It's a really powerful program. I've done it myself. And anyway, this customer was saying that she got it all those years ago, and it changed her life, she said. And she wanted to know, can she get it again? She hasn't got it anymore. Can she get it again? So I'd woken up in the middle of the night, seen this message. And of course, as soon as I'd seen that message, then my mind was going. And I'm like, yeah, I should put it back on the website. And then I was thinking and then I had the idea of, put the first day for free on the website. And I'm like, I wonder if I can do digital downloads on the website. And my mind was going, so I'm like, I'm just going to get up and do it right now. And so I did. I put it on the website. So it's on behealing.com on the homepage there. So go along, you can listen to the first day for free. It's a really powerful program. And so I'm going to start doing that today. I'm going to do the program myself today, write my 21 things down and start that process. So if you're interested in that, it's an amazing program. It does. It changes people's lives. So many people had amazing stuff manifest from it. Grace is one of my guides. Oh, no, the name Grace. That's cool. Yeah, grace to me is all about the flow of good things. Yeah, confirmation for me to do it. I know, and it's like this is what's been happening, Greta, is like I keep on getting these ideas and stuff to do stuff in my business. It's coming through fast, through customers or through myself, and it's like, yeah, act on it right away. Love it. Yeah, and so that program I know can, the reason I was telling you about it is that program I know can get you into this state of overwhelming grace. So things manifesting really fast. Yeah, so maybe that's what's going to do it. Unlock it. It's cool because what I did was I recognized that there's like 21 things, 21 aspects of ourselves that we need to align with, that we need to open up to and embody to get aligned with what it is that we want. And so every day focuses on a different one and gets you aligned with it. And so if you're doing it like once a day, so powerful. Other cards for me are strength and courage and self-love. So I am a strong person and courageous. And self-love, it's for me at the moment, my self-love, I like to think I practice extreme self-love and self-care all the time. As much as I can, I do. Now, adding into it, not eating chocolate, listening to my anxiety, and not just listening to my anxiety, but dealing with it. I'm listening to guided meditations each time to calm myself down, to soothe myself whenever I feel it. The grounding that I'm doing as well. I'll go for a walk on the beach today. But yeah, it's a lot of the self-love. It can be an external thing, it's doing those nice things for yourself, eating right, exercising, all of that stuff, grounding. But it's also the internal stuff too. So it's listening to how you're really feeling and acknowledging that. Acknowledging the inner child too. When I was in the shower this morning, I was listening to some I Am morning affirmations that are on YouTube. Can't remember who made them. It just popped up on the after I'd listened to my my daily read. It popped up as something to listen to next or something to watch next, and so I clicked on it when I was in the shower. And yeah, it was very much getting to your inner child, like loving that little child that we've got within us. Cool. Greta, would you like a reading? Self-care. Yeah, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. So the general theme of the day is the Bard. So it's about our old stories, and the energies of today are about relationship healing. So, Greta. You've got fulfillment and make love. And so you feel fulfilled when you're doing things that you love, when you're adding love to the world, when you're loving. And so you can only love when you're choosing what you do love. Like putting love out into the world isn't about trying to love what you don't love. It's about knowing what you do love and focusing on those so that you can add more love to the world. It's like the difference between people that have a passion for a project or something, but really they just have a passion against something and they're fighting. And that's not adding love to the world, that's adding hate to the world. But if they were to focus on what they loved instead, they'd be way more productive. As I say, people that are focused on hating on, say, a company that's causing problems from the environment, right? If instead of that focus, they were to focus on what they loved, so maybe what they love is nature or something. If they had that focus instead on what they love, then they would start doing that and adding love to the world. So it's a solution, you know what I mean? And solutions don't come by focusing on the problem, they come by focusing on what we love. And so, yeah, your higher self is saying that choose what you love, what you actually love. Don't try and convince yourself to love what you don't love or to try and fix problems. We're not here to fix problems. We're here to love what we love and and put our energy into that, to create in our own lives. That's what we're here for. And you feel fulfilled when you're doing that. You feel fulfilled when you're loving. Yeah. So that's the most fulfilling feeling, is loving. And we don't feel fulfilled when we're trying to love what we don't love. But we do feel fulfilled when we're loving what we do love. Oh, I love channeling. I love channeling as God, grace, healing, and love. That's awesome. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Channeling. Oh, it's just the best. Get so much from it. So much from it, personally. Greta, you got work and face the situation. So there's something to face within your work. What's challenging at the moment in your work that you're not facing? Maybe you've got colleagues that you don't like, or some part of your work that you don't like, or maybe you're not achieving that success that you want. If we're relating it to the other two cards, then there's something that you don't love about it. Could be just an aspect of it that you don't love. I think it's important to do that. Like with my business, that I've done that. I've like focused on, like I used to do a lot of like one-on-one stuff in a way that I didn't love doing it. Now I do it in a way that I love doing it. But I used to think that I had to do it in a certain way, the way that other people were doing it, and I didn't love that about it. And so sometimes it's just a tweak. Haven't been working for a while. Okay, Greta. But you like channeling, so why aren't you doing that work? Work isn't necessarily paid work. It's what we do. It's what we spend our energy on, what we spend our time doing. And if you just start doing it, and if you value it, other people will value it too. Had a really bad year with my daughter. Okay. So yeah, a lot of personal things going on, and that can be hard. Well, what I've found is sometimes when I'm going through stuff, when I'm doing this kind of work, doing this channeling kind of work and helping people to heal, sometimes it's best done in those states. It's like you can't wait until you're perfect to be able to do this stuff. Healing, helping people to heal isn't about doing it from like wait until you're perfect, or pretending to be perfect and be the teacher, and it's like everyone else has got a problem and I don't. It's more powerful when you're actually doing the work yourself. Way more powerful. Which just shows it's like in the last couple of months I've been going through stuff and my work has stepped up. It's not the opposite. So just maybe that's what you need to face, is that don't shy away from it, because it's actually more powerful. And what I've found in my own work is when I've healed from something, then I'm not that interested in helping other people with it. When I'm completely healed from something, I'm not that interested in helping other people with it, because it's not in my consciousness anymore. It's not there at the forefront. Like I recognize it when people when they come to me. It's like, oh yeah, here's this thing. I recognize that in their energy that I've healed before, and I know how to heal that, so I can help them with it. But it's not there in my consciousness, in my current energy, to actually say create something. So it's like the 21 wishes in 21 days stuff. That was back when I was going through abundance issues. I made that when I was partnered with a multi-millionaire. And when I got together with him, my money just stopped completely. It was such a big lesson. And and that's when I made that program. So it's like when we're going through the crap that we're actually inspired to help people more. So maybe that's it, Greta. What do you think? Yeah. We are of service when we heal ourselves. Just naturally we're of service because we're putting that energy out, healing ourselves. We can be more love in the world when we're like that. But yeah, particularly for our kind of profession, I know in my experience it's more powerful when you're going through stuff to actually be present and be vulnerable, sharing your story with other people, and then you can help them too. Yeah, so something to face there. So Greta, maybe it is the thinking that you need to be perfect. You know, how many times do we see on mainstream media? Not that I pay any attention to it anymore, but and haven't for years, in fact. But you know, there'll be a big scandal like, oh, like a psychiatrist turns out to be, I don't know, to have some kind of psychiatric problem themselves, like a big shock horror. They should be perfect. You know, it's like there's so much of that around in mainstream media, like. And not even when it's related like that, it's like sports star turns out to have something bad about him. It's like, of course, like everyone does. Like they should be perfect if they're in the entertainment industry, if they're in the sports industry. It's like it's bizarre. There's this idea that everyone should be perfect, and if they're successful, you know, something to think about. And so yeah, maybe we've picked up that belief from society about this whole perfection. You've got to be perfect before you allow anything in. Okay, let's leave it there. Thanks so much for coming along, Greta, and everyone that's watched the replay. I've got $20 off full moon readings at the moment on BeHealing.com. And if you want to do the 21 wishes in 21 days meditations with me and Anne, that's just started the program as well. Presume she'll be starting today too. Then yeah, do that. It is such a powerful program. I love it. And the meditations are only short too. It's only like, I think they're about 8 minutes long each, so it's something that can fit really easily into your day. Yeah, I love it. So you can do day one for free on BeHealing.com. I also had the idea as well I got it off a video to get some coconut milk, which is freely available here. You can buy like the homemade stuff in plastic bags here. To have in my coffee instead of I'm having condensed milk in it at the moment. So that's really interesting. Hey, it's like further get me away from those bad oils and sugars and stuff, and dairy too. I don't like dairy. Dairy doesn't like me. My body doesn't like dairy at all. Thank you, Greta. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And yeah, if you want a private reading with me, details are in the description box of how to book in for that. Thanks, Greta. See you again soon. Bye.